Lethal Company. That one game everyone played, but no one talks about it anymore. Which is quite sad, because it's still a fun game to play with friends. It was a kind of one-hit wonder in late 2023, but it fell off. But that matters not, because I am here to talk about it. Lethal Company is that one game that you play with your friends on a Friday evening. It originally was going to have a different name, namely Amazon Simulator, because of the employee neglect and stressful working environment. But we got Lethal Company in the end. The game is based around a go into that dangerous place and get some shit concept. The shit being scraps and the place being moons, which I will talk about more. There are 11 total moons, or maps, if you will. Each has their own unique layout, difficulty, and enemies. Some of those moons are even inaccessible until you buy them from the store, which I will talk about later. To each moon there are a few stats. 1. The difficulty ranging from safe to S++. 2. The size. And 3. The power level. Each moon has a set size, and size only affects the indoors part of the map, because it's procedurally generated, so you'd be extremely lucky if you would get the exact same layout twice. A size 2 moon, for example, will be, you guessed it, 2 times bigger than a size 1 moon. With great power levels come a lot of enemies, or just a few strong ones. Ah! Fuck off, you cunts! Each map has a set power level cap, and each enemy has a fixed power level. So on a map with, let's say, a power level of 4, you can get a power level 3 entity with a power level 1, or a different combination. I should also say that the indoors and outdoors parts have separate maximum power levels. Next to all that, there's also a variable stat called weather. You can see what kind of weather it is on a moon on the autopilot terminal when you're selecting a moon. Clear is, well, clear. Rainy makes puddles of quicksand appear, in which you can drown. Stormy makes certain objects attract lightning, from which you can die. Foggy, you can't see shit. Flooded, the moon slowly starts filling with water and you should get the fuck out ASAP, or you will drown. Eclipsed is basically hardcore mode where entities can spawn way faster, and there's more of them too. And one I didn't even know about, Meteor Shower, which is, you know, pretty self-explanatory. Alright, so that was the moon part of all this. Now time for... So, there are a lot of entities in Lethal Company. Some of them are nice, some of them are rude, and some of them are there to murder you in cold blood. As I have explained before, each entity has a set power level. The higher the power level, the more powerful the enemy. Except for the Koyo head for some reason, which has a power level of 1. Even though it's an invincible entity that has the potential to insta-kill you and is very annoying. Next to the power level, there's also a limit to how many of one entity can be spawned. And thank God that is the case, because I wouldn't really want to run around the map knowing that there are 4 Brackens roaming. Now, you might think that you're doomed if something is after you, and in some cases, you'd be right. There are invincible entities, but in other cases, you might have a fighting chance. You have 2 means of dealing damage, shovels and shotguns. Shovels deal 1 damage each swing, and a shotgun can deal up to 5. Damn, he's actually doing it. What a madman. Never mind, he's fucking dead.
Each enemy that can be killed has a set HP, with the highest being 5. Now, I said some entities can't be killed. Yes, but they can be stunned. There are items you can buy or find that allow you to stun an entity for a brief moment, which can be the difference between life and death. While we're on the topic of buying things, let's talk about the store. The company store is accessible through the ship's terminal by typing store into it. Once you do that, you get a list of various items that you can buy. Each item has its own use and it helps you in its own way. Not only can you find items in the store, you can also find ship upgrades. They're accessible to everyone once you buy them, and you don't have to buy them twice if you die, for example. Unlike items, which you can lose if you die. They add extra functions to the ship that help you and your crew get the job done more easily. It might sound OP, but trust me, it's balanced. The ship upgrades all provide a positive service to you and your crew, but they all have their downsides.
For example, the inverse teleporter, a very useful tool that can help you get in fast, but who knows where you will get teleported to, so you can have some unfortunate scenarios where you just instantly die.
Lastly, you can find some cosmetics for you and your ship. They serve no purpose other than to decorate your ship and give you mad trip. Alright, you know all that, but I still haven't told you how you can actually play the game. Well, it's quite simple. You play the game by meeting the quota. And you should treat the quota like an evil god, because if you don't meet it, your run ends. You can meet the quota by selling the various scraps and items you found on the moons you visited every 4 days. Some scraps have higher value than others, and if you're in it for the long run, you really have to min-max that shit. Remember when I said that there are moons you can buy? Yeah, those ones. Those ones are the more dangerous ones, but they also offer the best loot. The more difficult a moon, the higher the reward if you manage to survive, of course. Sometimes it's just not worth it to risk it all, but sometimes it's necessary. But hey, how you go about meeting the quota is up to you. Now, let me give you a little piece of advice. If you're ever down on your luck and you barely miss the quota, remember, bodies are worth money too. Now, because I'm such a great guy, I'll let you in on some tips to avoid beginner mistakes. First of all, on more dangerous moons, don't just go all in at once. Have one guy stay at the ship and be like the guy in the chair, navigating the rest of the team through the map and warning them of possible danger using a walkie-talkie. Secondly, take beehives. An often overlooked piece of loot just laying around the map is the beehive. You can find it outside on some maps, and it's worth between 40 and 150. If it's 40, don't bother. But if it's 100 or higher, it's worth it. See, unlike with normal scrap, you actually have to think with this one. Beehives have bees, and if you come too close, they will start attacking. If you're playing with friends, have one guy lure away the bees while the other one snatches the beehive. It is possible to do alone, but it's a little bit more tricky. Wait for your stamina to be full, then walk up to the bees, and as soon as they start going after you, turn around and run a decently wide circle. Then run up to the beehive and spam E. Run until your stamina is almost empty, drop it, rinse and repeat. Now, it is important that you put the beehive outside at the front of your ship, otherwise the bees will be inside and you will have a great time with that. Just don't forget to take it while taking off. Next, more shovels. As I've said, shovels are one of 2 ways of dealing damage, but good luck out-damaging an entity. Have a crewmate throw a stun grenade or use a zap gun on it before you engage. That way you can minimize the risk of dying while still being able to kill the entity. Of course, if your teammate or you fucks up, you get situations like this. Now, and this will come as no surprise to some people, for the love of all that is holy, avoid jumps if possible. The amount of times me or my crewmates have died because we fucked up a jump is not something to be proud of. Not only do you permanently lose all of the loot that you've been carrying, the body can't be retrieved and you get penalized for that too. So please, look for a way around before you jump. More often than not, you can just go around it. Lastly, tell your parents to shut the fuck up. Okay, maybe don't do that, but try to play in a quiet environment. The game has access to your microphone, and one specific, very annoying entity can hear you. The dog. They chase down the loudest thing in the area, and I have to say, I have died because my mother sneezed in the background. And that was it. I truly hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Ja, hij staat al zo ver.